This is an introductory video, or kind of an overview, I guess, of a 10-acre tract with direct frontage on the Niagara River, a few miles downriver from Bennett Springs State Park in Dallas County, Missouri. So one of the few spots in Missouri, or really in the country, where you can actually fish for rainbow trout and brown trout, along with bass and all kinds of other good stuff. But um, to a lot of fishermen, the exciting part is the trout fishing. But even without the fishing at all, this is an awesome property on a really nice section of river. Let's see here. Where do we want to start? Where to begin? This is obviously the property here. This is Marigold Drive right here, borders the east side of the property. Now these boundaries are going to be fairly close. All these tracts are being surveyed right now, so there will be precise survey markers. But you could go out there anytime at all, and you're going to see the signs for the different tracks, and you should be able to tell where you are. And we can definitely send you the link to this map that you can use on your phone, and that's a pretty good way to check the property out. Let's zoom in a little more here on the east side to begin with. Okay, so here's Marigold Drive. You come in the gate, and there is a road easement, so you can pull directly onto the property. It does have frontage right on Marigold. You're welcome to put in your own driveway and approach, but if you don't want to mess with that, you can use this gate right here, take a right, and there's the property right there. So this upper meadow, basically flat, lots of building sites. I know that on this map in particular, this looks kind of long and thin. It is long, but it's not thin. I mean, once you get even to this area, let's see how wide that is. Let's go toward the edge of the meadow. So that's 150 feet wide, which is already larger than a standard building lot. Whoops. Okay, so you can build in this upper meadow. What am I doing here? Okay, come on. There, excuse me. Okay, so you can build in the upper meadow. Let's switch to topo here. This is all flat, all buildable. This slopes down rather steeply, which gives you a nice view off to the northwest. And then again, in this bottom area, this is flat as well. So while you could potentially build in this bottom area, that is definitely within the 100-year floodplain, being adjacent to the river like it is. So you would absolutely have to elevate your structure if you were to build there. I'm going to mention also, okay, the previous map showed the property line being the center of the river. It's actually the river bank, or that's how the preliminary survey showed it. But anyway, so although this is rather steep, you could put your own private trail down here, or alternately, you can just take this easement road, which goes down the hill and over on around to and across the property. So you've got access with a vehicle there, and that's how we were able to drive right down in a truck or an SUV. I mean, you could probably do it in a car, but anytime you're dealing with a gravel road, a truck or an SUV is a better bet. Now the exciting part, I mean, there's lots of, even if this wasn't on the river, it'd be a really nice property. But having this river frontage just makes it so special. Look at that. I believe it has roughly 300 feet of river frontage. The survey will have to confirm that. But it's a great section of water. Excuse me. We've reduced the price on all these tracts. It was logged it had some old oak trees that basically were past the maturity point and were on the decline. Those were logged, not by us, but just before we bought the property. So there's a lot of medium size, and there's quite a few big trees left, but the largest oaks that were declining were removed. And so that could be cleaned up, and also ideally, if we had unlimited time, we would have put in a nice wide trail leading right to the water. Whereas right now you can go on foot, probably a four-wheeler, but you wouldn't be able to drive a truck to the water right now. And with a trail there, you could do that, which would be pretty cool. So looking across, we've got the Maggard canoe and campground. Over here we have One-Eyed Willie's. I mean, you can rent cabins or campsites at either one of those places. Over here we've got Ho Hum canoe rental. I mean, it's that good of an area that you've got all those little resorts or whatnot. On MapRed, I'm going to add the public land layer, if I can find it. There we go. And when that kicks in a moment, there we go. So that's the Barclay Conservation right there, which is just across the river and then upriver about a quarter mile to Barclay Spring. So you've got all that public land which is available for use. If you want to have a cool little miniature float or a float trip for kids, even little kids, you can take your vehicle and your kayaks over here to the Barclay and have someone drop you off, and then you can float straight down the river to your own property, and you can take out of the water, as they call it, on your own property, which is really, really cool. Probably like a, I don't know, 20-minute or 30-minute float. The water's beautiful and clear. Probably a great beginner's float, or like I said, an appropriate float for even young children. Awesome, awesome. I mean, we can't say enough about these tracks. We have very few of these. I'm going to zoom out here. Okay. So looking down at the bottom of the screen, this is Bennett Springs State Park. That's where they have the trout hatchery, and they release them into the water. So this is Highway 64. To get to the property, you take Highway 64. You can go west out of Lebanon, and just before you cross the river, you go north here onto Marigold Drive. You follow that up, veer to the left, keep following it up, veer to the left, keep following it up, stay left, and eventually you will come to the property on Marigold Drive. So feel free to check it out. Feel free to check out the other videos. This was, like I said, just an introductory video to kind of show you what's going on and talk a little bit about the property. We love the area. There's Lebanon right there on Highway 44. Might as well zoom out a little bit more as long as we're here. Lake of the Ozarks, probably 20 miles or so to the north. To the south, you've got Springfield, where we're based. I mean, just a great area. I mean, it took us years to get this deal to come together, and we're super excited that we did. So if you have any questions, let us know. InstantAcres.com is the website. If the property is available, that's where you'll find it. You're likely on InstantAcres.com already if you're watching this, but if not, check it out, and we would definitely love to talk to you. I'll also mention these tracks, like all our tracks, have a few basic property covenants to keep your investment intact. So minimum 600 square foot foundation, no mobile homes, excuse me, a couple other odds and ends, but you can see all that on the website. If you have any questions, let us know, and we look forward to speaking with you.